There's the sun. Pulling in some solar now. Okay. Long overdue update. My apologies. Everything's full. Laptop's full. Hard drive's full. Phone's full. Just cleared up 10 minutes for this video. First of all, thank you to the new subscribers and welcome. YouTube grabbed one of my old adventure vids from last year, which I still have footage that I need to edit and upload. But, and I don't know, they're taking it for a bit of a run. Yeah, I had Northern Ontario in the title there, because let's be honest here, most of the people watching are from the US, and most of Ontario population is in the lower half there. And I was kind of trying to keep those people safe rather, you know, people think, oh, it's way up there. You know, they're not going to go trampsing through there. The people who are going to do it anyways. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't giving away any secrets there or whatever. And of course, Northern Ontario is massive. It really should be its own thing. It's, you know, there's expansive land up there. But, you know, I'm in Southern Ontario in like the little island Dragon's Head area there. So to go up that far is like 8 hours of driving for me. So, you know, for someone from the US, that's like 12 hours. Anyways, it's north for most of my audience is what I'm getting at. And, you know, it kind of looks good in the algorithm there. Central Ontario doesn't really have so much of a ring to it. Anyways, it's not what this update's about. It's been 10 months in the van. I'm broken. I'm not going back to, definitely not going back to renting. That's not happening. But even to buy a house these days, the value for money, like I said, I'm in Southern Ontario here. It's like $1 million for a fixer-upper these days. The prices are getting better. 800 grand for a, you know, fixer-upper in the bad end of town. But no, I'm broken. Not even with the travel bug. It's just not even feasible to live in a house these days. That's just money down the drain, and then things happen like crazy. I mean, you got to have a backup when you're in a van, either solid insurance or a backup vehicle. That's kind of where I'm going with things. I've been on a major minimalism journey the last little bit. Haven't put most of that on YouTube or any of it really, because it's hard. It's honestly, it's a roller coaster of emotions, getting rid of, you know, 20 years of stuff, being in the same general area, you know, only 2 moves in that time, in, you know, a very small area. Little bit of history. I made a huge move when I was like 11 years old, moved away from most of my family, about 6 hours, which might as well be, you know, across the country, because you only see them the odd holiday. So for me, this is pretty big. Like, this is 20 years in the same general area, and I'm trying to downsize everything to fit in a van and very minimal storage. But I started this journey with 4 cars. I'm a mechanical pack rat, so I had parts galore for all of these cars. Parts, new parts, old parts, you name it. So it's been a battle. It's been a battle, and just getting rid of like memory stuff, like, you know, all those junk from high school. Like, this is back before cell phones were a huge thing. So we had like handwritten notes and, like, you know, what the girlfriend gave you for Christmas or whatever and stuff like that. Random knickknacks, all in the garbage, because it's all just, it's nice to have that kind of stuff, but it's also really nice to let go. And for me, honestly, I wouldn't even look at it to remember the good times. I would just kind of like have it in the back of my mind, like, oh yeah, all that stuff's up there. Like, if I really want to hurt myself someday, I'll go look through it. I had old cell phones with like text messages in it, you know, back when you actually had to, you know, yeah, every once in a while I'd hurt myself with those texts. But you got to move on. You got to move on. The video wasn't really supposed to be about minimalism, but it is actually kind of interesting topic. The stuff that you own ends up owning you. I really do believe that. You know, I was always constantly worried about, am I getting the best use out of this thing? Am I wasting my money? Oh, I spent money on that and now I'm not using it. It's really nice to have a hoard. I love that. Back when YouTube first started, I used to just marvel at people's hoards, and I thought, I can't wait until my yard looks like that. But it gets overwhelming, honestly. And when you don't pull the trigger on land and don't have your own shop to put everything in, it gets pretty taxing. So, like I say, I've been cutting the fat big time. I'm down to 3 vehicles. One is more like a lifelong project. It's more of a antique toy at this point, a 1992 40SX. Then I still have the Forester, the 2006 Forester, which is back up. I'll be living in that. I'm not even joking. Something happens to the van, the motor goes, hit a deer, hopefully not. Anything can happen. T-bone, someone takes out the van, insurance gives you nothing for it. You know, I looked for this thing for realistically like 8 years. I looked for this van, and I didn't come across another all-wheel drive that I would be consider even purchasing. So yeah, at this point, like, I don't know what I would even get. I wouldn't go bigger. I don't want a cargo van. The length of this thing is perfect. If you need to turn around on trails and stuff like that, these long cargo vans, like 20, 22 feet, that's a lot of van to turn around. The Astro, she gets in there, she can turn around, she can get out. Much more confident in this thing. I mean, the ground clearance is leaving a bit to be desired. It's a bit ridiculous. It's lifted now. I'll do a little bit of a mechanical overview if there's time here. I don't know how much I'm going to babble on, but it's lifted in the front. It's got replacement springs in the rear that the previous owner did, so it's you know, ready for bigger tires, you could say. I'm trying to wear these out. Same story still. Tires are expensive. If you priced out tires these days, ooh, everything's expensive. But you know, it's your home, right? One thing I noticed when I was doing all the work to the van, when the front end basically collapsed on me and the van was totaled, I had to rebuild the front end with all new metal. I noticed when it was on jack stands, the bed was less comfortable. So your tire pressure and your tires affect how comfortable your bed is. It's kind of funny to think how a van affects everything, but like I say, I'm broken, man. Oh, I've got a spot where I wake up to the smell of fresh bread and the birds chirping every day. I wouldn't trade it for anything right now. The downsizing and the minimalism, it's daunting at first. One thing I read was start with your wallet. Start with even the easiest thing you can possibly think of, like your desk or something like that. For me, it was the wallet. Stuff that you don't need, cut the fat right out. And honestly, it just snowballs from there. For me, it's so hard to throw out anything that has any value at all. Even down the road, if I could use it for, just something makeshift, it's so hard for me to throw something out. But Marketplace is great. I've gotten rid of so much stuff and recouped a lot of money, which is nice. Back in the day, I don't even imagine what you would do. You just have to gift it all away, which I've given away a ton of stuff too, donated, but it only goes so far. Some of my stuff's so worn out that I'm just like, man, Goodwill won't even take this. It's like, but I don't want to throw it out. You know what I mean? The pack rats and hoarders among us will know what I mean. But honestly, it's been great. It's honestly, one other thing, take pictures. If you're like, I can't get rid of this because of the memory, just take a picture, put it in 3 places, it doesn't exist unless it's in 3 places. And you've got the picture, that's worth everything right there. That's the way I feel. And then no one wants to talk about this, but you're not going to live forever. You can't take it with you. You got to get use out of your junk. I take amazing care of my stuff. I'll have something for 10 years and I'll still have in my mind, like, that's brand new. Like, oh, don't get a scratch on it, but you got to enjoy your stuff. You can't take it with you. Someone's just going to, kick it all in a dumpster when you kick the bucket anyways one day. You got to enjoy it. That's why we're here. We are the universe experiencing itself. So I truly believe that. So get out there. If you want to travel, travel. If you don't want to travel, if you just want to be in the woods by yourself and you don't really care where you are like me, do that too. On that note, the name of the channel, Always Good in the Woods, it was kind of a placeholder, to be honest. I wanted something that rhymed, was easy to remember, and it kind of, gives people a general idea what is going on here. I'm in Southern Ontario. There's just not a lot of woods here. It's honestly pretty much all agriculture. It's private property or agriculture, one of the two. That's basically it. But like I say, land is so expensive here. No one even has excess land to like run field cars on and stuff. I was from kind of like Eastern Ontario, and that was super common. All my friends growing up had, the family's old Civic or the old, beater Nissan truck to just go romping through the fields. These are like 11-year-olds or younger. Fully honest about that. That's just how it was. It was like the trailer park boys, but we didn't live in trailers. It was more like ripped apart houses that renovations went on for decades and decades. And people had nice houses, You'd know what I mean if you're from the area. The backwoods Ontario boy, it's a thing. Anyways, I'm getting off topic like crazy. The weather here has been insane. Winter was easy with the diesel heater. It's just like a house, just like everyone says. A nice dry heat keeps the moisture out. As long as you got the diesel heater ripping, which I was trying to test myself to see how comfortable I could be and climatize myself down to lower temperatures. It only took about 2 weeks to get used to the you know, to the lower temperatures. And honestly, I could sleep in this down to like 5 degrees, 0, and be fine with no diesel heater. And then obviously below 0, you know, to keep everything from freezing, your olive oil and whatnot. It's nice to keep the van regulated at, like, you know, keep the diesel heater on low, just chugging away all night. During the day, the sun, due to the greenhouse effect and maybe the dark van, heats it right up. You don't even have to have the heat during the day. It's perfectly comfortable. Now, in hindsight, I might have painted the roof white because it's a scorcher. I'm not gonna lie. I'll do a nice overview of the van. That's gonna have to be a different video because just so much has happened and whatnot. But the roof, yeah, I would have definitely painted that white, or maybe I could get a reflective tarp or something, because man, oh man, I just try and stay out of the van during the day. Obviously, it's not really a big problem, especially now that the heat wave is over. That's what I was gonna say. We rolled out of winter, which we had the polar vortex. That only hit us a bit here in Southern Ontario. It was like -20, -30 for like a week. Any other time after that, it kind of bounced in between like 5 degrees and -10, -15. So then we basically went right into the spring. It was a quick transition. It always is in this area. And it was blistering hot, and I was climatized for winter. And then we got hit with a huge heat wave. And it honestly had me, for the first time, rethinking this whole van life thing. I was like, oh man, like this is bad. Like this is like you need 3 showers a day to stay comfortable type situation, because we have extremely high humidity here. It was getting pretty bad. And that basically proved to me that a pet in the van would be a very big challenge for me. So I'm glad I didn't pull the trigger. There was some lonely moments during the winter where I was thinking about getting a dog. There was a nice little collie German Shepherd puppy that I was about to go pick up, to be honest, and maybe that would have been for the better, but I don't know. Maybe if there's a bit of a relocation in the future, that could be an option. The cat, I don't know. That's the other thing with the heat and the litter box and the van. I don't know. I don't know how people do it. I mean, I'm a cat person at heart. I grew up with cats. If a stray walks up to me, yeah, it's coming with me, and it won't leave me alone type situation. I'm not going to just kidnap a stray, but yeah, they would have to choose me. That's how I got my last cat, like a decade ago, and yeah, I just couldn't go to a pet store and buy a cat. That's just, in my opinion, I just can't do that. A dog, that's a ton of, I'd love to get a dog and do this van life thing with a dog, but it's a very small van. It'd have to be the right dog, and I'm more of a bigger dog guy, like collies and whatnot growing up, collie mixes. So I don't know, I'd have to really mull it over and think it over. It'd have to be a dog that I can bring to work with me, and we're spending a lot of time outside of the van. But yeah, on that note, the van's been working great, other than the big front end collapse due to rust. It's been running awesome, knock on wood. And of course, I had to make some more room. Too much yammering. So I gotta wrap this up quick. Oh my goodness, and we're low on battery powder. Okay, so I gotta thank everyone, because we got a product review coming up. This wouldn't have been possible without everyone who's watched the videos and subscribed. So I take no credit for this, but a company reached out to the channel, and it's not the first company, but they made it very streamlined and not a pain in my you-know-what. So I took the product. I was scared that it was going to be junk, but it's actually good, which is great, because then that would have put me in a tight spot. But be ready for that. It's not going to be like an internal product review. I'm not going to like try and sell you a veggie mix or online therapy or a VPN. It's a item, a tool that you can use for this lifestyle. It's useful, trust me, and it works good. I'm honestly being honest. But real quick, yeah, things are tough here in Southern Ontario. There's not a big van life scene at all. So that's, you don't see me going to meets and stuff like that. It's just living life in a van, to be honest. So I'm going to pop you out of the holder here. And we've got like 3 minutes. Okay, so the van is now lifted. If you look in there, you can see the 2-inch lift puck attached to all of this square tubing that I had to replace. This entire bottom section of the van, they call it the rad core support, but it does no such thing. It's the front body mount section of the van. With this all rotted out, the front of the van is not attached to the subframe. which I've done a little bit of painting here. You can see my wheel wells where it's not muddy. It's been painted. There's a bit of overspray on this cover that I should probably hit with some spray paint, but no big deal. Yeah, still in the market for tires. $950 for the cheapest. It's like $1,900 for BFGs. So yeah, that's why we're running these till they're bald. Haven't got stuck yet, knock on wood. I'm tapping on my head here. We got new ball joints, new end links. There's video on the ball joints, I believe. Idlers are still those crappy Mevotechs. There's the lift block on that side. Don't make fun of my welds. I still have to obviously tie this in. This is just loose. Cap that, because that is actually how I get to the nut, to tighten the nut for the bolt that goes up through the body there. Trying to keep up appearances on the van, but like, what do you do really? I'm gonna ruin this thing in the forest one day, so this doesn't look very good. I should put a patch over it. They gave me the wrong blue again at Napa. I put on my fake mustache. They still gave me the wrong blue, so what do you do? Went and got color match stuff at CarQuest, and they nailed it for the Forester. So I don't know, man. GM has like 5 different blues. So either my van's been repainted at one time and it was done amazingly because there's just no evidence of overspray at all, or GM's got like 5 different blues, or the sun faded it incredibly uniformly. I don't know. Anyways, so not much has changed back here. Obviously some more painting in the wheel wells. It's, good and heavy on there with the Trem Clad, the Farmer Special. Did the frame in the visible spots, the unibody frame here. The van's already had springs done. These rear springs, I have no idea what they are, but I've confirmed online with other Astro owners and just from seeing them in the junkyard like crazy that they're definitely replacements. Seeing stock ones. Oh yeah, the spring's muddy, but there was like a yellow triangle in this area here. So that might be an indication as to what they are, but I put like a 30-foot travel trailer on the van and it didn't sag at all. So that's pretty much my ride height no matter what I put, weight-wise in the thing, which is good. Okay, that was just a real quick overview. Like I say, lots of videos coming. I just got to edit up the footage. I've been videoing everything. Solar panels in December. I've got it all. So don't worry, it'll get posted eventually. It won't be chronological, but that's nothing new on this channel. Refining the interior a little bit. Junkyard shopping. Got a center console to put up there. Lost that video too. I still have the footage. I'll edit that up and put that up still. That was good footage, but yeah, I'll give you a full tour one of these days. So I just want to give a heartfelt thanks to everyone who's watched and subscribed to this point. Like I say, none of this would be happening, products for free. That's kind of a big deal for, small channel. Someone who doesn't put as much effort as maybe they should into it, but Hoto believes in me, so that gives me a little bit of a boost, right? It's kind of neat. I don't know if it's for me. I don't know if I'm going to do it again, because honestly, it made it feel like a job, and I don't like that. And then they're emailing you and they're saying, hey, can it be done in 4 weeks? Can it be done in 3 weeks? And it's like, oh my God. Anyways, it's a different thing. There's some stipulations and whatnot, but I said to them the same thing I say to every company. You give me the product, I'll give you an honest review. I'm not gonna, it's called a collaboration, but if it's junk, I'm not gonna pretend it's not junk. You know what I mean? It's just not what I'm gonna do. It's just part of the game here and whatever. And I tried to make it pretty interesting and honest. So I don't know. We'll see. It's probably not exactly what they're looking for, but too bad. I don't think it's going to become a regular thing on the channel, but we got lots of other videos to come, repair videos. I've got adventures from through the winter till now, still yet to come out. I do appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I appreciate everyone who likes and subscribes and comments. That helps out huge. The shares too. People are sharing the videos. That's awesome. That's a big deal to YouTube. All right, I think that's everything I wanted to mention for now. Be good to yourself and others, but always protect your peace. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.